great way to
Folks,
start.
Tuesday night, welcome aboard. Murder Hobo Inc. presents Between the Rolls, the Socium Project. It's our take on some world building, and we're going to world build the shit out of this place until December when we go ahead and start doing some, I don't know, some games or something. We'll do something really cool. I'll spend 20 minutes compiling all of our information and putting it out in a haphazard kind of hacking
Yeah,
bullshit
sure.
thing.
Sure.
Don't forget, if you're new here, thanks for joining us. If you're returning, again, thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter. If you want, check out our archive, which you're watching currently here at tinyurl.com/ttrpg podcast. If you want to shoot the shit about D&D, join our Discord channel. And if you want to be on the show, not on the Socium Project, but next Tuesday or a week from this Saturday in a one-shot, hit us up, mhobo inc, Twitter, or Gmail. If you're in the market for some math rocks, and who doesn't need new math rocks, run on over to Twitter and hit up at Pirate Dog Dice. See if they got the time, the inclination, or the desire to go ahead and make some. And if your game stinks, unlike ours smells like success, go on over to oddfishgames.com and check out their adventure scents. They have over 60 different varieties, most of which are pleasant. Some of them you give to people that you hate. They don't have dog shit smell like Kyle says, but you know they got a lot of other kinds. They also make something called the Shine system. So if you want to be a writer just like Stephen King or myself, only gooder, check out their Shine system. Okay, advertisements away. This is the Socium Project. We got 3 other DMs here. We're going to go ahead and talk about cities, but let's go ahead and introduce you to them first. Carol, you're up first. Who are you? Tell us about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carol. I'm a longtime gamer, occasional GM, and commission mini painter. I have my own channel and that other, thing under Muses_Touch on Twitch, where paint minis 3 times a week. Schedules on there. And on this channel, I play on the Craig campaign. I have my somewhat crazy half-elven ranger Anjo on the Craig campaign, and occasionally, well, I haven't done a one-shot in a while, but hopefully at some point. And they do this. So that's me in a nutshell.
Nicely done. David, you're up next.
Hi, I'm David, and you could usually find me on BTR, but recently I've just kind of been away from it all, traveling and such, but what I haven't been missing, though, is our Calamity campaign. I am also on the A side and the B side of the Calamity campaign. I play Ingve on the A side, Crow on the B side, and we got this little show called Cacophony. So I play Zadar, the arcane trickster changeling, in that. Otherwise, if you're interested in, or might be interested in some of the things that I tweet and retweet, you can follow me at DNDevious in the Twitterverse. I'm usually paraphrasing or just retweeting whatever Frank posts on there anyway, but don't miss it.
Shit.
Yeah. But that's it. That's me. I'm Dave. And I'm here tonight to talk about Socium.
And last but not least, Spencer, tell us about yourself.
Yo, I am a teacher and game master. I've been playing games since I was a wee lad. Been running my own games since I was about 13. And so now decided to put my chops to the test and start doing some world building with a lot of other DMs.
Awesome.
You are too kind. We are all just hacks. Folks, if this is your first time here for the Socium Project, we think you're in for a treat. We're kind of, this is our pet project. It's been going on now 5 months. We got a few more months left. We have each taken a slice out of the world map, which you'll be seeing here shortly. And we're just fleshing it out to prepare people to adventure in it. So, since we left off with Spencer, I'm going to toss up the world map. You tell me, what are we talking about in your slice of the world today?
Yeah, so we're going to start with the Golden Sea. We're going to start at the city of Restolm. This is the city I've fleshed out the most. It is I envision it as a city of refugees. That is its quote. So it's the city of refugees. It is the home of people who are trying to flee. The Golden Sea as a concept in my mind is a place where people are always coming from places that they are fleeing from. So either getting away from tyrannical rulers or getting away from calamities of any sort and kind, natural disasters, anything that's going on. So that's how it started, and the first people got there. Now, Restholme itself, right there, right on the edge. It started with shipwrecks that people had nowhere else to go, and it's slowly been built up over hundreds of years. It's at the mouth of Lake Union and Wyvern Pass. It is the perfect trading center. It is the home of all goods that are coming in and out of Lake Union. And of course, all of the MOA that are also coming in and out of the Golden Sea. They got to go somewhere, and they go through Restholme. So it is a city of traders. It is a city of trade and commerce itself. So this leads to a couple things in my mind that I came up with. One is that this emphasis on merchants has created a merchant council that commands the city. But not just any merchant council run by those merchants that are most successful. Oh no, this is a city run by guilds, run by unions, run by consortiums. Every single guild in the city gets a representative that is part of this merchant council. And we're talking all sorts of guilds and unions of any and all types. We've got shipbuilders guilds, architects guilds, the spicers guild, the muckrakers guild that helps run the sewers. Any and all people are part of a guild, and the guild is the center of your life. They are the people who are your family. They are more than your family, because when you switch guilds, you basically changed families. So that's really how people get around and are ingratiated into the city and are welcomed in by joining one of the many, many guilds in the city. So that's the starting point of this place. It's not the only part, but that's where we're going to start. Any questions so far?
Quick one.
Yeah.
How do you get into the guild? Are you turned into an indentured servant? Do you have to be?
Yeah, so this city is because they bring in all people, all free peoples, anyone can join in. In fact, there's a lot of competition to get people into some of the lower guilds like the muckrakers or the laborers guild, the luggage bearers guilds. They just are constantly recruiting anybody off the various ships and caravans that come in. The Golden Sea as a whole, and Restholme specifically, is a slavery-free city. They do not believe in ownership of people of any varieties. In fact, even owning the MOA is considered somewhat awkward by the people who raise them. So it's more of a rental system, is what they say.
Okay.
Actually, do you have to be in a guild?
You don't have to be in a guild.
Or to get anywhere in life, do you have to be in a guild?
Yeah, if you want to get really anywhere in life, you gotta be in a guild. And almost every single profession has a guild of some type. So like there's a hat maker's guild, of course. There's gonna be an apothecary's guild. There's gonna be a medicine guild. There's even a witch's guild. All these different sorts of guilds that spring up from any sort of profession that could exist.
Now, you said the city's run by guilds. Now, with that many guilds, are there a few standouts, or is there a council of guild masters that actually run the city?
Yeah, the guild masters are the ones who, so each guild votes for a representative that sits on the merchants council, and those are the people who make the decisions for the city. But that's our problem, is they don't really make many decisions anymore. The merchants council is coming at an impasse because they've found out if they make any decisions, then people won't vote for them in their guild in order to keep electing them. So they just kind of coast along and do whatever is okay. So de jure doesn't really laws, but de jure, they're the ones in charge. De facto, it's an entire different group of people that are actually in charge of the city. And those are the hooligans. The hooligans of Hydroball. They're the ones in charge.
And do they have a guild?
They don't have a guild, no. They're the sports fans. Those are the fanatics of the special sport of Hydroball that exists in Restholme.
Hydroball.
Yeah, Hydroball. So for those who've missed this from earlier, the Golden Sea, their specific thing that makes this a different area than anywhere else is these ideas called the Rolling Reef. It's a literal rolling ball of water that travels across the land. It has its own ecosystem living within inside it that is a reef that constantly rolls across the land. The people of Restholme decided that they wanted to, how are you going to have fun, having good times? They started diving in and out of these reefs for fun. This eventually led to sports being made. So they created Hydroball, where you take a buffed up ball of leather, get 2 goals on either side of a rolling reef, and try to get it into the other goal. This developed into a 7-on-7 team sport that has water shapers that move the water around in all sorts of fun patterns. It is a very bloody sport because full-on physical violence is encouraged and in fact necessary in order to score. There are 8 teams, each one corresponding with a different animal, and the team fanatics are the ones who really get stuff done. They compete in everything. They compete for how much violence they can inflict on each other. They can compete in how much damage they can do to the city docks. They compete in how well run their charity is in order to rebuild said docks.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Any of the guilds have a rivalry amongst themselves?
Oh, the guilds have many rivalries, but they also intersect with the hooligans. So a number of guilds have broken apart because different factions have joined different hooligan teams.
So it's Blood Bowl.
Oh,
Blood
yeah.
Bowl or Guild Ball
or kind of like Gangs of New York, like the Scorsese film and stuff like that with the different.
Has anyone
gangs.
seen played a potential video game franchise that has like 14 implements, and they may have played the 10th one that involves a game of blitzes of some kind?
I believe I might have heard of that. Now, if I'm a new guy, I'm going to hang out in Lake Union. I'm going to cross it. I'm going to go to Rest Home. What is the must-see place or thing that I've got to see or got to do?
You got to see a hydro ball game and get yourself involved in a riot.
Nice.
That doesn't sound like Murder Hobo-ish.
No, it doesn't at all.
No.
Oh, that is interesting. I like that. That is Rest Home in the Golden.
Do they have a crab? Do they have a secret crab shanking league?
UCFC.
Do they have a branch of the UCFC?
There is no secret shanking. The blood is in.
That
the blood
is a secret league, though.
Well, it's the worst kept secret. But
yeah, everybody knows about it, but it is technically secret.
Yeah, technically you got to get in there. Any other questions for Spencer on Rest Home?
No, he was pretty thorough with explaining how things are run in Rest Home. So
nicely done.
Thank you,
David. You're up next. What are we going to look at?
Okay, talk about Slapshod. We're going to go to Verdania, and I believe that was Region C. I apologize for not having anything marked because my computer crapped out. So I think I'm right below Carol's place.
I think you are too. Well, I see my place there.
Right here.
Yeah, right there. Okay. Well, there will be a city there. There's one, I want to say, on the right side of the river, the large plains area. There's a city that's going to be there. It's going to be a capital. It's called Hestia. Hestia is when we were talking about the geographical features and it kind of enveloped the holiday, I mentioned a holiday called the Cavalcade. Well, what Hestia is, it's a city based on horseman culture. It's basically, it's everything from cavalries to lancers, dragoons, and things like that with training their military. So this is a whole city kind of based around that. And one of the other functions that they serve as, they also serve kind of as teamsters with helping with merchant trade across the lands and across the country itself. Now, one of the things about Hestia is its palace. It's a huge palace, not unlike anything that you would see, I want to say, in some of the old palaces in Norway. And there's also like the royal stables. And the royal stables are basically palaces within themselves. I had mentioned this before the last time we covered it. But across from the royal stables is Royal Riding Academy, and that's where they train their military. As far as I want to say, cavalry. I want to say also with I don't know, strategic things and stuff like that with moving an army across land. So anything from logistics to things like that. So that's some of the main features with Hestia. The other things that they have towns and temple districts kind of built around a large square, which is basically like a large parade grounds. There's also towards the outskirts of town, there is fairgrounds where they have competitions and races and things like that. Anything from horse and chariot to straight out like steeplechases and things like that. So it's a very, like I said, a very horse-centric culture. As a matter of fact, the name Hestia is derived from the Norwegian word for horse is hest. So I just kind of ran with it with that. So that in a nutshell is Hestia. So whatever questions you got for me, I'm sure I can.
I don't know.
Who's first? Go ahead, Spencer.
Yeah.
Do they have dressage?
Yes, they do. The bards are trained in dressage. They get a little Saturday Night Fever playing on the lute while their horses are sitting there doing the dressage. That's what they got. So
Yes.
There is a major competition there, right? Of this.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh yeah.
Actually, it's a whole. I mean, you talked about festival. You had a music festival, but do you have a horse festival?
Yes, the cavalcade.
Like a whole week or 2 weeks?
It's not. It's about a week, and basically what it is it's almost like I want to say like a military, not correlating it to real world events, but like a victory parade and procession and festivals that go around that. Just a celebration.
We need the horse Olympics. Think of the Olympics.
I'm sure they'll have
a
something there.
steeplechase and show jumping and of course dressage and
Horseback archery.
Yeah, you could do the pentathlon.
That's part of
the
cavalry training is there are
training.
archers.
We're talking about just something purely sport.
Yeah, and we get to eat the losers in the Great Burger Fest afterwards.
Oh no! Yeah,
No,
it's got to be incentive.
Although it's funny because I was just reading that there was a whole kerfluffle about the horse. Somebody punched a horse at the Olympics.
Oh,
no! It was at the Kentucky Derby. They were hitting the winner.
No, it was during the pentathlon because you don't bring your own horses in. They bring them in for you. So they have one that refused to jump. Yeah. And one of the coaches punched it. So there was this whole huge thing. And then they said, now we're going to get rid of the horse aspect of it. And of course, everybody's like, no, that is not the way to handle it. There's like 50 other ways to handle it and then get rid of that. But
speaking of horses, though,
bring it back, David.
Do you have a question, Carol? I've got.
No, go ahead.
So in the real world, right? We are constantly looking for like the best horses and all sorts of things. I would assume. So if this place is all focused on horses, do they have like? How do they keep track of that? Do they have like because we have intensive records when it comes to like people's hereditary. What do they do?
Right. Well, basically there are families. I want to say horse breeding families, and they're kind of like a consortium, and they keep track of everything. They have like, I want to say like 100 years of lineages throughout their family stables and things like that. I was going to make a joke when Frank was talking about the hamburger or the meat products and stuff like that. I was going to say, yeah, they've cornered the glue market, Frank.
I was going to say the glue. You don't make hamburger out of horses.
You do if you're hungry enough.
enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Gelatin. It's a Jello festival.
Ugh. So again, I'm new to Hestia. I'm just traveling the place.
Sure.
What do I need to see? Let's say I'm not there for the horse Olympics or the horse eating fest or any of the steeplechases. I go to Hestia. What can I expect to see in the city?
Okay, one of the things that you can expect to see
Tower of Manure.
Yeah, that too. there's the compost trade and stuff like that. There's the fertilizers guild. Yeah.
Oh,
So-
Jesus.
That's actually not wrong. So,
Don't mind me while I die.
No, one of the things to note there is that there's almost kind of like I said, one of the things that the country is known for is like their logistics and things like that. So there's a huge trade district where goods are brought in, across land. Because looking at the map, you have basically two landlocked, or even three if you're crossing the mountains, water features there, and goods are being brought in logistically or across, and that's one of the things that they have. You ever seen in cities how they have the large shipping areas and things like that? So that's where like the unions, like the Teamsters unions and other factions and things like that, as far as trade, or that's the center for it. And built around that is the markets. So you're traveling to Hestia, one thing you want to see is the markets, because of its ideal location of Hestia and the way that they move merchandise and things like that from basically all three sides. That's a place that you're going to want to be, that you want to see. There's going to be markets where you could just get just about anything, really.
now, Hestia is landlocked, right? Or is it on the actual river?
It is landlocked and all
so
that.
it is
There
not a
is
port
some.
city.
No, it's not a port city. When I say just imagine like, I don't know, like a hub, pretty much. It's a city built around a hub and stuff like that.
Imagining an Amazon warehouse, but with horses instead of
It is.
cars.
It's a fulfillment center, is what it is.
I'm in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden, this gigantic fucking building with piles and piles of horse manure are right there.
There's some sightseeing things. There's the Heroes Walk, and basically what it is it's a large, I want to say statued walkway of like these giant. There's like an arch of like two horses facing each other, and it's just lined with like statues of like famous people, commanders and generals and stuff like that from their cavalry. So they'll have that.
Any other questions for David? Carol, brings us to
Wow.
you. Where do you want to go?
First of all, I'm really glad I got a set of mountains between, and the dwarves live in the caves in the mountains, and I don't have to smell friggin' horses when it catches on. I probably do smell it on the friggin' wind. All right,
Well,
so
I think you got enough
I got
space.
this assignment because I went for places. I mean, I didn't just pick my cities. I actually picked specific. Exactly Frank's question. What would you see when you go into these? To my, couple of places. Let's see, which one? I guess I'll do the Elven one first, because why not? So this is going to be at, oh God, why can't I read it? I can't even read my own thing. Elvish is a bitch to pronounce, even though I wrote all these things.
Your crappy
Didn't have to
handwriting
be.
does not equal Elvish.
Mytherium, I think is what I call it.
Yes.
In
think
fact, I
that's
don't
it.
know if he actually friggin' spelled it right. I have it spelled differently, I think. Myry.
Well, it's yours, so you need
Nope,
to tell
I
me.
know you did. Nope, you did spell it right. Okay, never mind. It just looks shorter for some reason on there.
I think it's
So-
the way the font lines up.
It could be, actually. Mytherium. All right, so when you basically it's a port on Lac Lunaril, which traders from Sea Haven, or I guess even the dwarves could use it, or anybody else that Rosa feels like allowing access to there, and the elves feel like allowing you access to there. Well, when you first get in, there's this big tree, a really big tree. Now elves do live in trees, but this tree was hollowed out, and it's a really huge tree, and it is a tavern, and it is an inn for people who are foreigners to visit. It is called, what the hell did I call it? Oh yeah, Sylvan Haven. It's an inn and tavern. It's in a huge tree. The tree was actually killed by really large, let's go with really large termites. That made a lot of like it was the formation of what now is where the rooms are. They just, took all these hollowed out areas and just hollowed them out more, turned them into rooms and things. Let's see, it's located right off the docks. You cannot miss it. It is definitely a landmark. And one of which that it's probably the most known landmark that foreigners and such would know in this country because they keep the rest of it very guarded. I'd say it actually has a total of like 15 rooms and a large tavern in the main area. There's a large bar with a performing stage because of course they love their music and bards and such. Violence is not tolerated, and if you start some shit, you'll find yourself magically removed from the building or by a couple of bouncers. But I do have it if start shit that it can have you basically ported outside.
I got matches.
And then you can't friggin' it doesn't burn. This tree is magic. There's all sorts of magics to prevent that from happening. Fucker. So, elves, I'm going with the elves elves are a pretty magical race. So I'm going with there's lots of magic in this particular nation. And that's my like landmark there. I mean, there are other things there, it being the capital, that is the capital. So, I mean, like I would say they probably have a small amphitheater there. They've got government buildings. They do have a lot of forest, so there's a lot of trees all over the city, and some are used as buildings and homes and such. But they do have a lot of the normal municipal buildings. They do have I would say they combine the forest with like, let's say Greece or Rome type architecture. A lot of beautiful art and statues and things. They're very artistic as well as, and they try to live in harmony with nature.
So who runs this inn?
Who runs the inn? I didn't come up with that. I figured I was just going to actually come up with the...
I'm sorry. This is Socium, the half-assed project.
No. I could say that this world's version of Taryn runs that inn, but she's too worldly for this. She wouldn't be there, come to think of it. A person to be named later, I guess.
Fair.
It would be, considering said that they ensured there was a stage, there was a band of adventurers that basically cleared out all the insects. I mean, they were not your standard, no, they still don't live there. They're not your standard insects. They are really big insects.
That was my question.
They'd be,
how big are they?
I'd say they'd probably be large. They'd be large on the scale of on a map scale.
Are those insects still an issue for other parts of the city, considering it's built into the forest?
So a lot of it's been developed, so no. But those, you probably will run into them outside of the city in some of the more uninhabited areas.
Got it.
But this city is fairly inhabited, and people would have smoshed them.
Visitors beware giant butterflies.
Huh?
Visitors, we beware giant butterflies.
Okay, yeah, fair. I would say actually probably, if you want to know who runs it, probably a descendant. I would say at this point, there's probably, it's been around for a really long time, like a lot of things in the Sylvan Nation. Elves live to like 1,000 years old. So things have been around for a really long time. So it's probably a descent. I would say it's a descendant of that first adventuring party.
Cool.
That took out all those bugs.
Now, you keep mentioning that this inn is the place for immigrants. Now, noting
not
that...
immigrants. No, not immigrants. Traders. Visitors.
Okay.
They don't really... There's got to be some real special circumstances before they... I mean, if it's an elf, sure. But if it's a non-elf, there better be some real special circumstances before they'll let you live in their country.
So they're racists.
They are. They
kind of sounds like it.
they definitely though had a lot of shit dumped on them with the those Nazi dwarves that Rosa kicked out of Sea Haven. So
Let the
They
record
were
clearly
being
show
enslaved.
I did not mention Nazi dwarves yet.
Nope, you didn't, but I did because they
This
are part.
episode.
They're
This
part
episode.
because you mentioned them so much, they became a part of Sea Haven's history. But they are in the history.
It's a collective world building exercise.
That's true.
Yeah,
Just
it's true.
throwing out ideas here.
Yes, they are. They're actually very protectionist, and yes, I'm not gonna say they're not.
Yeah, fair enough. Any other questions for Carol? One quick one.
Yeah,
Maranthium is the city, right? It's not just
Maranthium's the city. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair.
What were you? What were you gonna? It's not just the what. I should have let you finish that thought.
No, you got it. You read my mind. I just wanted to make sure that Maranthium was the city and not just the inn.
No, the inn's name is Sylvan Haven.
Right. So
It's the
okay.
inn.
No, that I just
Maranthium is the capital.
personal clarification. That's
Just
that's what I need.
That's No, and but that's why I wanted it. That's what I thought you wanted. I want to make sure I get the title of the actual inn in there. So
Sure, no problem. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, let's bore the shit out of you.
Yeah,
Fine.
go ahead.
What am I going to talk about? Well, you know what?
what are you gonna talk about?
I've got quite a few countries, but I swear the halflings of Charchuri are quickly becoming my favorites. And tonight I will be
Is it
discussing.
racist? Is it?
No, they're actually
I'm kidding.
both halflings live, and Bentucci is the port city, largest city in Charcuri, and that's the one I'm going to go ahead and discuss tonight. And to go ahead and further illustrate it, I'm going to kill this and share.
He's got a city map.
I got a friggin'
what
city
a-
map, boys and
Yeah,
girls.
I know it.
Bentucci sits on the Arno River right here. The Arno River actually cuts all the way through Charcuri. And the origin point is a little bit puzzling because it goes all the way down into the Big Giant Lake, out into the Bay of Peace over here. This section of the wall actually overhangs because this is a cliff with a waterfall, a beautiful waterfall. And then atop each of these battlements is a statue of one of the rulers out of the past 500 years. This statue here on the waterfall is actually Guido Bentucci, the actual founder. This land used to be run by humans, but due to the drought, the famine, and then the plague that followed in the early years, it was devoid of habitation until a group of enterprising halflings, led by said Guido Bentucci, arrived here. He actually climbed these heavy cliffs and planted his flag, so to speak, creating the not really capital because Charchuri is more of Italian Renaissance city-state development. So it's not a true capital, but it is the largest city. One of the main features of this city that has protected them for years is this sandy cliffside right here. Because the waterfall has limited the amount of space where you can have docks, the city only has 2 docks, 4 slips in each, but every slip is filled all the time. Bentucci is very, very busy, not just with halflings, but with other races and other cultures. It is a major trading center. But the problem is, in order to get into Bentucci, you have to pass through, go up the hill, through the gate, which has 3 portcullises, trebuchets and ballista on either side, and archers lining it. So if you're going to come to Bentucci to go ahead and take it over, you better pack a lunch. Because in order to get up the cliff, you're doing a real Saving Private Ryan moment. Now, like the other cities in Charchuri, they all have something to offer. This one is currently being ruled by a great-great-great-granddaughter, Miranda Bentucci, in the palace of the Doge. In this city, the leader is called the Doge. because it is a personal favorite of mine.
Gee.
The College of Bentucci overlooks the Arno River right here, and it's those two buildings. That section is more for intelligentsia and educational purposes. Throughout the rest of the city, there are just a plethora of different shops and things of that nature. There are buildings 4 stories high, including the Palace of the Doge here in Bentucci. Weird fun fact, all the buildings in Bentucci, different colors. There is no rhyme, no reason. The roofs are different, normally slate, some ceramic tile. One enterprising individual has decided that hammered metal is very conducive to the rainstorms that come off the coast. But all of the buildings painted a myriad of colors. There is zero. This is not your brick and mortar kind of place. This place is more like Haiti. During the good season, if they've got one. One of the things they are known for is right here. This pyramid building is called the Musee Du Louvre. It is a stair-step pyramid, and it is an art museum.
Really?
Really. The upper levels of the art museum have removable windows, which recently a problem was noted during a small hurricane that made landfall. A lot of paintings were damaged, so now they have had to restructure. Fortunately, Miranda Bentucci is an excellent leader. She is 50 years old. She has been in power since she was 15. And she is thirst trap. She has never been married. She enjoys the single life and is frequently caught on the grounds of the city without escort, without military escort. She is the term that they use in Bentucci, a playa.
Wow.
So, but she has been very, very good for the city. She provides excellent benefits for reasonable taxation. And they haven't really faced any military threats in an extensive period of time here because of the cliff, the fortifications, and the high walls. It is in the middle of farm country, so they have a plethora of grapes, fruits, veggies at their disposal. It really is kind of paradise on earth, except for it is populated by 98% freaking halflings. And as we all know, halflings can just be a giant pain in the ass. But this is the city of Bentucci. If you want to explore the interior of the eastern Socium world, this is the port that you'll find most pleasing. They have a multitude of festivals, multitude of entertainment. This is a fun city, except for all the freaking halflings. Questions?
Really, Frank? You couldn't come up with anything more original than stealing the literal Louvre and putting it in your city?
Louvre.
Oh, please! That's kind of how it's written.
I almost made it glass, but I decided that would have been too expensive.
I mean, that's literally the damn
Louvre. Totally different thing.
Oh,
Musée.
sure.
Musée Du Louvre.
Even
That's
the
original right there.
Shape. Yeah, sure.
So
how
how
is it calling me?
Something tells you Frank did not have a lot of time to plan this.
Actually,
like,
I have had a shitload of time for this. That was an intentional. I didn't even discuss this part right here. There is a huge celestial. I had to write it down because it was really intense.
Ooh.
The celestial Watchtower, which you'd think would be in place, but actually there is a giant fountain there, one of the original freshwater fountains. So they have had to put it essentially on pillars and then build it up from there. Nice.
That's cool.
I've given Bentucci a lot of thought.
Right, but the one thing you did is the friggin'
it's the Bentucci doomsday clock.
Yeah.
Starts counting down.
Oh my God.
Well,
So why do they need a celestial clock over there? They must be counting something.
Well, these guys are industrious.
Wait, is it a clock or is it like a telescope
It is a clock, but it's kind of like the clock in
or an orrery?
Hungary or
Oh yeah. It's in Prague.
Prague. There it
Prague,
is.
yeah.
So not only does it tell you time, it also tells you the phases of the moon and the stars, etc. So it is
That's good.
in progress. So there is a lot of scaffolding. Unfortunately, several citizens have been hit with bricks on accident during the creation of said tower. So, it's not without its problems, but it's there. But my favorite part is the Musee Du Louvre, because
Oh my
that is
God.
just fucking classy.
That's just such a
That's
fucking
classy as
cop
shit
out.
right there.
Such a
Yeah,
cop out.
pick your teeth while you're doing it.
Now, how
Wow.
many museums have you guys come up with?
I've
what I
got
thought.
them.
I came up
I've
with a
got 'em.
church. I mean,
Okay. So, any other questions on Bentucci?
So how old is Miranda Bertucci or Bartucci?
Miranda is 50.
Miranda, 50. Okay,
She's
so
ruled
she's
for 35 years since the time she was 15.
okay. So she's on the prowl. She's a cougar,
She
right?
is a cougar, and that's why
Alright.
she has always been a cougar. She's never been married. She doesn't want to be married. She just enjoys the freedom of her life. So
All right.
got in
Different-
right around
different-
prom time, and boom.
so she's got someone in every inn instead of every
Miranda
port.
is never lacking in friendship, male
Friend?
or female.
Oh, is that what you call friendship? Companionship for the night.
Yes. Well,
Oh.
every once in a while it's a weekend.
Oh man, you
Sure,
totally
why
have
not?
to do your Real Housewives thing in that setting.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
could.
god,
But yeah,
that'll
so
be amazing.
there you go. Any other
She's
questions?
a character. I like her.
Okay. What is the main industry outside that comes out of there?
Import export.
Just
we
import
are
export.
dealing with
Okay.
Cosa Nostra here. These guys are the port city, and the underground is rich. What is this mesa or hilltop that the city's built on is riddled with tunnels from the limestone.
Yeah. So that can't be enough ports going on there. There's got to be something else moving in.
Right,
But
right.
the big problem for the underground is this river does have import export, but if you go past this bridge, you will get caught in the current and you will Niagara Falls over. There is no doubt about that. So that is a very caution point. So
How
the
high
military
is
is
the-
here,
How high is the waterfall?
200 feet.
Yeah,
Okay,
you fall
yeah.
fast.
It's
Yeah.
a very steep. It's a very steep climb from here to here. Miranda has commissioned a project. It is in the early works. It is something called a lift that some dwarven miners gave her the idea during a night of drunken debauchery, and she is going to use. She is going to have someone use ropes and pulleys and mining tracks to go ahead and make an escalator-esque kind of thing.
She should talk to the Goblin Tech Engineers. They'd be able to make that for her.
There you go.
Yeah.
She would be open to that. She is very easygoing, clearly.
You good. Rose and her should paint the town red.
Yeah.
Or blue,
They're probably about the same age.
possibly green. But yeah. Any other questions?
Oh, that sounds great.
No, it sounds great.
Now we enter the lightning round. These three are going to give
Oh,
me
God.
one more community in 5 minutes. Spencer,
Oh,
what do you
okay.
want to do?
All right, so we're gonna go back to the bigger map. We're gonna go to Kaizen, and so I've got a little information on either of these places, and you all can decide which one you want to do. So if you pull it up and you go over to Kaizen right there. We got 2 port cities. We got Neluth, and you go down a little bit to the east on their side and down and south. There you go. There you can find it. Zaruth.
I
So
don't
we got
care.
Neluth and Zaruth. Which one would you like me to discuss? We got both.
Don't matter. Pick one.
You pick one. Tell me.
Odd even.
There.
Even. Zaruth.
Zaruth. All right. So Zaruth is the port that is built into the volcano of Mount Kairos.
Nice.
It is the industrial center of the Navy of Kaizen. So it is a heavily militarized place where literal lava flows out of the mountainside and hits the water steaming. It is the current headquarters of not only the Navy, but also the Goblin Tech Engineers that I just mentioned. So it is a place of great industry and continual clanging. It is very, very busy, very, very dirty, very, very militarized. Entry into the port city is heavily checked, as this is where the newest of all Goblin Tech Engineer inventions are created, and the continual locations of all of the Kaizen Navy are located at all times. So all of their information about where any ships are and what they find is here at any given time. Now, that's not all the information that Kaizen has. That's just specifically the Navy, which is 1/5 of their military. So that is kind of the center of the city. So it's a very industrious city. It's very dirty. It's built basically up the slope of the mountain and into the mountain itself. It is not heated by anything except lava and other geothermal stuff. If you want to get a nice bath, this is the place to go, because they have an infinite number of hot springs and saunas for you to enjoy. So they work hard, they relax well.
Who runs it?
Who runs it? It is run by the, let me go find that one. What is the current name I called them? The High Admiral, I believe. Yes, the High Admiral, the commander of the Navy, is the person who runs it. And then they're the one who runs the city, since they built it first as the port because it's so close to Mount Kairos to protect it. But then the High Foreman, who is the commander and builder of roads, bridges, and tunnels, and also the one who controls the Goblin Tech Engineers, they also are the ones who kind of like co-run the city, making sure it all works, because there are tunnels that connect from Zaruth to the temple at Mount Kairos, and also channel the lava kind of away from the other more inhabited places.
Nicely done. Again, lightning round, so we can't delve too deep. David, what's next?
Okay. I believe my area is right next to Crow Key, but looking at the features, since we were zoomed in, it's just like, I don't know if what I got is really going to work. Can you tell me about the terrain on the other side of the river for that? Like
on the western side?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I thought it was a little more mountainous. Like
well, this is all mountains right here.
Right, but I'm talking on the right side. Yeah.
I can add mountains if you need mountains there. That's not a problem.
Okay, because I can't have it be a swamp with what I had in mind for the city.
Well, the only swamp is right here.
Yeah,
this
yeah, and I'm accounting for that.
And forest.
Okay.
But yeah, I can add mountains.
Well, about 1 hex square above the I want to say the swamp is where my city is going to be. It's the city of Mystere, and with the city of Mystere, it's basically I want to say an academic city. It's centered around the study of the arcane in magic. One of the things that they're known for is that they have something that's called the Studitorium, and it's a university. Basically what it is, the Studitorium is like a prep school, and the building itself also serves as a forum for the university and for the other schools of magic. So that's the main feature of Mystere. One of the other features that I was going to have, since I was envisioning something a little more, like I want to say like jungle mountainous regions and stuff like that, was that there was beneath Mystere itself was a tunnel system, kind of similar to like the underground city of Toronto, where they have merchants and shopping and vending and I want to say hospitality underground, because the reason for this is because of the different schools of magic and their buildings and things like that. If anything goes wrong, everybody's underground. So like if there's, something devastating happens with the school of evocation or something like that, citizens can take refuge underground. So that was the main point of interest that I had for that city itself. The other things that I was going to have is for its merchant trade and stuff like that. I had mentioned in our last episode that I was on that this area was cleared and farmed with the surrounding pastures around the city itself. A lot of the, I want to say, trees and things like that fuel what's their, want to say, their textile and their publishing trades and stuff like that. Since it deals with the arcane, when they have like a text section there too, and they developed what would be the equivalent of a modern printing press. So they're getting out the printed word for the knowledge. Their knowledge is their main export, pretty much. So, but that's it. That's the city of Mystere. That was the big city that I have featured for that. And it's going to be right on the bay above the swamp. So I apologize. My computer went down in the program with the mapping and stuff like that. It's been chaos. So I wasn't able to put it on the map. So any questions?
Who runs Mystere?
Mystere is run by I can't pronounce it, Magistocracy or something like that.
Magistocracy, yeah. Run by mages.
Yep.
Dicks.
Snooty bastards.
That's right.
So it's pretty much it.
Carol, close us out.
All right. Well, it looks like we got 10. We don't have 10 minutes. Actually, no.
One of us is
You
going
gotta
about
close.
7. I will not
You gotta-
close. I won't have enough time.
Oh, well, all right. So
I'll save it for off air.
So, of
'cause
course,
you guys will like it.
the second one is going to be that, of course, Port Freedom and what I picked for there. Port Freedom, by the way, obviously, it's a pirate port. As for what's actually in the city, there are some government buildings. Obviously, there's a jail. There's probably a fairly important building considering it's a city full of pirates. Lots of taverns, lots of craftsmen. I haven't really thought about whether or not there's guilds or not because it's pirates and I feel like unorganized in terms of that, and everybody, just the freedom to be not tied down to a guild seems more like the vibe of this place. Now I had to create a god. I don't know if what are we doing pantheons at some point?
Yeah, I believe that's
Is
July.
it next? Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so-
coming out.
I've got some of my gods already.
I guess I already started because I needed a pirate, basically someone that the pirates venerate. Because what I decided to put is my feature. There's several features in town, but I wanted to put the focus in since I don't have a lot of time. It's a part of town that's been sectioned off. It's called Vestris Harbor. And what this is essentially is a cathedral dedicated to the Lady of Pirates, or the God of Pirates and Luck, Vestra. Hopefully that one name will stick. I don't know. That's part. I guess I've already started my pantheon then. She's the goddess of pirates and luck, and Rosa, who was the one that took over this friggin' place and kicked all those Nazi dwarves out. She is a devout follower of Vestra. So in thanks for Vestra's aid, she built a cathedral to her, and it's just a section off of the port. It actually has docks, and the main church is a pirate warship. It is, instead of where you would normally find your storage, it's been turned into a church with pews, and actually, no, it probably should be a bar in there because every pirate church should have a bar. Especially with the way I do with her, she always chucks rum into the ocean as a sacrifice to her god. And there's a pipe organ in there because, of course, there should be, maybe there's a locker, Davy Jones' locker in there.
Goonie.
The Goonies.
Actually, I didn't even think of Goonies. You're right. There's a pipe organ in that too, isn't there? No, I was thinking Pirates of the Caribbean because Davy Jones had a pipe organ.
Good.
So I was thinking, so it says word store, but it is a fully outfitted warship and the flagship of her fleet. And it's called Vestra's Gift.
Is it christened with mead urine from the drunken sailors that visit there?
Oh,
No.
no.
No. It is treated with respect. You don't fuck with the Lady of Pirates, because then if you're out there, bad shit can happen. Like that sea monster, could come and just eat your ship. You don't want to fuck with the God of Pirates.
Seems like a bad idea.
Oh, there's also like instead of they do have portholes, but they're actually like little stained glass portholes.
Oh,
Nice.
do the stained glass portals depict the different stories of the goddess?
Yeah.
You know what? Sure. I wasn't thinking. I was thinking about portholes are usually fairly small, but maybe these could be bigger. I was.
Well, they could be small. They could be small stories. Just you gotta have little epithets.
Yeah, it would have to be pretty small. Just because portholes usually are pretty small.
Yeah.
Let's see. What the heck is this?
Each one's something you can devoutly pray to.
This is a functional ship, though, right?
It's a functional ship, yeah. If she needs to. So, by the way, on land, she does have an actual church. Well, it's a church, but of course, it's a bar. There's a tavern, but it's a church/bar. It also has a pipe organ in it, but it's got a bar.
So that's been christened by Mead Urine.
Well, remember, it said they treat it with respect.
Not if it's a bar.
It probably gets treated with more respect than most bars.
You're from Boston. You know there's mead urine floating around those castles.
Oh, shut up. So if they ever do have to take that ship out, there is an actual church where people can still worship.
Nice.
Cool.
It said, and it's where the rum flows freely. So it's not mead, it's rum.
Same.
Rum is the national drink. I would say right outside, we got all these grasslands, or all this just flat green stuff. I'd say there are probably what the hell, sugarcane fields out there.
Hops and
Not
barley.
hops, no, sugarcane, because it's rum.
You're awful high north for sugar, but okay.
I know. I was thinking about that. I'm like going, whatever. It's a fantasy game.
Sugar beets.
We'll make it work.
Oh,
sugar beets.
Sugar beets. Nice.
Okay,
time.
fine.
Yeah.
Sugar beets. There we go.
But
fine.
this is a fantasy
works.
world. You could have anything without sugar content to make rum with it. You could grow it there. It could be something else with sugar that that grows. It doesn't have to be beets or sugar
That's
cane.
absolutely true. And there probably is. There's something. I'd have to think
and you're a
about that.
port, so import-export that shit.
It's more fun to have it be all in house, though.
And rum's a pirate drink because it was cheap, not because it was easily accessible.
Yeah, rum.
Made out of molasses.
Well, folks, there you have it. There's 7 points of interest in Socium. Tune in 2 weeks for 7 more, most likely. You don't get to hear my other one because, as host, I have to bite the bullet. We only do this show for an hour. But again, thanks for watching. Don't forget, follow us on Twitter. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel here, tinyurl.com/TTRPG podcast. Still can't believe that one wasn't taken. Again, hit us up, mhobo Inc., Twitter, or Gmail if you want to get on here. This week we have Cred coming up on Thursday.
Yeah! Come watch us.
Calamity on Saturday, Margoo on Sunday. Next week we'll have some open spots for you. Remember, if you're in the mood for newer math rocks, run on over to Twitter, hit up @PyroDogDice. If you want your game to smell a whole lot better, check out oddfishgames.com. They've got over 60 adventure scents. They also have the Shine Project. So if you want to write something like Socium, which is a pain in the ass, but well worth it. Check out their Shine system. That's oddfishgames.com. Again, 2 weeks from today, we'll have the other 4 DMs on here describing their cool things. And then keep watching because in December, we're going to have some adventures. I already have 2 written in my area, and these guys are going to have something written in theirs. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do a
Wait, how many weeks are you running? You already have 2 of them?
Hun, I am a prolific writer.
Yeah, I mean,
write my ass off.
Does this mean I now have to set my Christmas adventures in my friggin' part of the world?
May as well bring in some goblins.
It's Pathfinder.
Folks, for Carol, David, and Spencer, we appreciate you watching. Catch us on Thursday for the Cred campaign. So everybody go ahead and give them the kiss and wave. I'll get us out of here. Mwah! Bye, everybody.